My wife cheated and said I'd end up broke alone and paying her alimony and child support if I divorced her. So I collected every receipt of her affair and let my lawyer cook. Now she's homeless, jobless, and alone. Hello Reddit I plus here. My name is Michael. I'm 36, and until 2 years ago, I thought I had built the life most people dream about. I had a decent paying job as a systems analyst, a beautiful wife named Jenna, and 2 kids I adored, Caleb, 9, and Sophie, 5. Jenna and I had been together since college. I proposed during our graduation trip to Maui. She cried, said yes, and for the longest time, I thought she was my forever. But sometimes, forever has an expiration date you never see coming. It started small, like most betrayals do. Jenna began working late more often. At first, I believed her. She was in marketing at a mid-sized firm, and they had landed a big new client. We're pushing hard to impress them, she'd say, kissing my cheek as she left in heels and red lipstick I hadn't seen her wear in years. Then came the distance. Less touching, fewer I love yous, more scrolling through her phone, more hushed giggles at texts she wouldn't show me. When I asked what was so funny, she'd say, just memes in the group chat. I didn't want to be the insecure husband, so I let it go. Until one night, when I was putting the kids to bed, Sophie said, Mommy had a sleepover with Uncle Jake. I paused. What do you mean, baby? We saw him in the morning. He made us pancakes. Mommy said not to tell you because it was a surprise. My blood ran cold. Uncle Jake wasn't her brother. He was her co-worker. I'd met him once at the company Christmas party. He shook my hand like I was a used car salesman. The guy reeked of arrogance and expensive cologne. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I started documenting texts, phone records, screenshots. I borrowed a friend's old phone and left it recording audio in our living room when I wasn't home. What I heard turned my stomach. Giggles, moans, and at one point, Jake, joking, your dumbass husband probably thinks you're doing laundry. I didn't cry. Not at first. That came later. Instead, I called a lawyer. Her name was Camille Tran, divorce attorney, sharp as a tack, and with the demeanor of a woman who'd seen every flavor of betrayal. I handed her a folder labeled Receipts. She flipped through the pages like she was reading a bedtime story. She looked up and said, Oh, we're going to bury her. Here's where things get interesting. Jenna had always assumed I was the passive type. She controlled the finances, partly because she was good at it, partly because I trusted her. What she didn't know was that my paychecks were split into 2 accounts. One we shared, and one she didn't know existed. I'd started it years ago when I did some side consulting work. It was my safety net, and it had grown over time. When I finally confronted her, she laughed. You're really going to divorce me? Please. You'll end up broke, alone, and paying me alimony and child support. She leaned in like she was delivering the final blow. And when the court sees that I'm the primary caregiver, you won't even get weekends. You'll see your kids through glass. I nodded and said nothing, but I saw something in her eyes then. Panic. Just a flicker. Like a gambler realizing too late that she bet the house with a bad hand. 2 months later, we were in court. Camille came prepared like a general at war. She presented time-stamped photos, audio recordings, texts, some even taken from the family iPad Jenna forgot to log out of. My favorite exhibit was a screenshot of Jake asking, When's your husband going to stop being a doormat? It didn't help Jenna's case that she'd left our kids alone to go on weekend getaways with Jake. Or that she drained $11,000 from our joint savings to take him on a trip to Cancun. In the end, the judge was furious. I got full custody. She got supervised visitation. Alimony? Denied. She had been the one committing marital misconduct. Child support? Ordered. But she didn't have a job anymore. Turns out her firm didn't take kindly to affairs between co-workers, especially when one was using sick days for sex weekends. She moved in with Jake. That lasted all of 3 months. From what I hear, he dipped the moment she mentioned wanting to start fresh and maybe try for a baby. She tried moving back in with her parents, but they didn't want to be involved once they learned the truth. Jenna now rents a tiny 1-bedroom behind a gas station and works part-time at a smoothie shop. She gets to see the kids twice a month, under supervision. She called me recently. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity got the better of me. She was crying. Said she missed the kids. Said she missed me. I was stupid, she admitted. I thought you were weak, but you were just patient. I didn't say much, just listened. Before we hung up, she asked, Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I paused. For the kids' sake, I already have. But for myself? I looked out at the backyard, where Caleb was playing catch with Sophie. Because I gave you everything, and you treated me like a stepping stone. Jenna is homeless, jobless, and alone. Me, I'm still standing. With my kids, with my dignity, And with every receipt filed away like trophies, sometimes the best revenge isn't anger. It's surviving with grace and letting the truth do the talking. In the weeks following the divorce, the dust started to settle. But the emotional wreckage, that took longer. At first, Caleb didn't understand. He'd wake up and ask, "Why isn't mommy making waffles?" Sophie would cry for her at night. And as much as I wanted to hate Jenna, nothing tore me up more than seeing my kids suffer. I never badmouthed her. That was a promise I made to myself. No matter how badly I wanted to. I just told them, "Mommy made some choices that mean she has to live somewhere else now, but she still loves you." The truth was harder for me to swallow. There were nights I sat alone in the living room, surrounded by their toys and art projects, just staring at the walls and wondering how the hell did I miss it? How did the woman I used to share everything with become a stranger in my own home? One night, I found an old video on my phone of our 5th anniversary. Jenna had set up a surprise picnic in the park. She looked right into the camera, smiling, and said, "I'm the luckiest girl in the world. I'd choose you in every lifetime." I watched that video on loop for almost an hour before deleting it. A few weeks later, I got a call from Jenna's mom. She asked if I'd allow Jenna to come over and visit the kids at home. Just once. I was about to say no, but then Caleb heard the name Mommy and ran up to me, eyes wide. So I agreed. She showed up looking like a ghost, skin pale, hair unbrushed, wearing a Target hoodie and sneakers I think she used to wear to the gym. She smiled, tight-lipped, and handed the kids a gift bag each. They hugged her like nothing had changed. Sophie climbed into her lap like it was yesterday, but Caleb, he sat across the room, watching. "Hey, buddy," she said gently. "Don't you want a hug?" He shook his head. "Why did you leave?" "I didn't leave you, sweetheart. I just made some mistakes with Daddy." He frowned. "You lied." Silence filled the room. Jenna's eyes watered. "I know, and I'm sorry. I'll do anything to make it right." Caleb's voice was soft but firm. "Then why did you pick Jake over us?" You could hear her heart break in that moment. She didn't answer. Couldn't. Just reached for him, but he turned away. I walked her out after an hour. She stood at the bottom of the steps, biting her lip, clearly fighting tears. "Michael," she whispered, "you were always the better person." "I wasn't trying to be better," I said quietly. "I was just trying to be yours." She started crying then. Real, ugly sobs. I didn't comfort her. I let her sit in it. Because the truth, I wasn't angry anymore. I was empty. That was the final twist. Not revenge, not victory, just peace. When someone tries to destroy your life and fails, they expect to see you angry, bitter, raging. But when you stand calm, unshaken and rebuilding, that's when they realize they lost everything that mattered. A few months later, I met someone. Nothing serious yet. Her name's Rachel. She works at Caleb's school. She's kind, patient. She listens like I matter, like I'm enough. And for the first time in years, I believe I am. Jenna still has supervised visits, still lives paycheck to paycheck. Last I heard, Jake ghosted her completely, blocked her number, moved out of state. Sometimes karma doesn't wear fangs. Sometimes it just watches and waits until the person who once swore they'd leave you broken ends up shattered at their own feet.